Welcome back, everyone. We are the A.A.V.E. Please make sure that you subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so that way you can get informed when we do load videos in the future. Today, we're going to bring you an interesting story. It involves a former hairstylist who worked at Fox Sports that now has a lawsuit against Fox Sports, and also includes some of the analysts, including Skip Bayless and Joy Taylor, along with one of the executives, a gentleman by the name of Charlie Dixon. Now, this is an interesting lawsuit because it's a 42-page lawsuit, and in the lawsuit, the former hairstylist, Noushin Faraji, claims that the atmosphere as far as where she had to work at Fox became very toxic after a while. She worked on shows including Undisputed, and at one point became Joy Taylor, who is an analyst at Fox Sports, became her hairstylist. Now, what I'd like to do is just go straight into the facts and read to you some information from the lawsuit that came online the other day. And it starts, Mr. Dixon gives Miss Taylor Undisputed, which is the name of the show that Miss Taylor used to work on, and that Miss Faraji was a hairstylist. Mr. Dixon gives Miss Taylor Undisputed as a reward for having sex with him. Wow. Wow. In approximately March 2016, Ms. Faraji met Mr. Taylor, an aspiring sports personality that had recently moved from Miami to Los Angeles for the opportunity of airtime at Fox. At the time, Ms. Taylor did not have a regular position, but would fill in on a day-by-day basis when talent was sick or otherwise missed time. Ms. Taylor told Ms. Faraji that she was recently wed, but her husband remained in Miami and that she was lonely in Los Angeles. Ms. Taylor then befriended Ms. Faraji. In approximately May 2016, Ms. Taylor asked Ms. Faraji to meet for dinner in Santa Monica. When Ms. Faraji arrived, she found Ms. Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports Executive Vice President of Content, Mr. Dixon. As Executive Vice President, Mr. Dixon is responsible for overseeing all content and production at FS1. Ms. Faraji, however, did not know Mr. Dixon. When Mr. Dixon went to buy them another round of spicy margaritas, Ms. Faraji asked who he was. Ms. Taylor responded that he was just a friend. Following that night, whenever Ms. Faraji would meet with Ms. Taylor for drinks or food, Mr. Dixon would either arrive with Ms. Taylor or would show up later in the night and leave with Ms. Taylor. He would always buy rounds of drinks and or food. From their body language, Ms. Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping with each other, and although this concerned Ms. Faraji, as she knew Ms. Taylor was recently married, Ms. Faraji kept her opinions to herself. In approximately June 2016, while at work, Ms. Faraji noticed Mr. Dixon in the elevator. Surprised by the coincidence, Ms. Faraji found Ms. Taylor and told her excitedly, "The guy who always buys our drinks was in the elevator." Ms. Taylor quickly silenced Ms. Faraji, explaining who he was. Ms. Faraji became alarmed and warned Ms. Taylor that such a relationship was unsafe. Ms. Taylor told her not to worry about it. Ms. Faraji continued to be friends with Ms. Taylor, but tried to distance herself as she considered the situation dangerous as well as morally wrong, as Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were both married. Now let's look at another excerpt. In approximately July 2016, word spread amongst Fox's employees about a new show that was going to be a big deal, as it would star Mr. Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, Mr. Sharpe. It was known that Fox was looking for a woman with significant TV experience to also star. Therefore, it came as a surprise when Fox announced that Miss Taylor, who was a bartender and radio host in Miami with very little TV experience, would be the moderator of the new show, a sports debate program, Skip and Shannon Undisputed. Mr. Bayless, later disclosed to Ms. Faraji that he did not want Ms. Taylor on the show, but Mr. Dixon was adamant that Ms. Taylor should star. At first, Mr. Dixon arranged a dinner between Mr. Bayless and Ms. Taylor, where she arrived in a provocative clothing and acted in a provocative manner. When that did not change Mr. Bayless's opinion of Ms. Taylor, Mr. Dixon asked him to approve of her as a favor to him. Reluctantly, Mr. Bayless agreed to do so as a favor to his friend. Around August 2016, Ms. Faraji attended a dinner with Ms. Taylor and her husband and Mr. Dixon and his wife. During the dinner, Ms. Taylor's husband became suspicious that Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were having a sexual relationship. Soon after the dinner, Ms. Taylor's husband found evidence of the inappropriate relationship and divorced Ms. Taylor. Okay, a little more spice to this right now. Now here's another section of the lawsuit entitled, Ms. Taylor Again Uses Her Sexuality to Get on a Show. In approximately February 2020, Ms. Taylor asked Ms. Faraji to meet her for lunch in Beverly Hills. When Ms. Faraji arrived, she found Ms. Taylor with a man, Emmanuel Acho, Mr. Acho. Ms. Faraji did not know Mr. Acho, but could tell that the two were romantically involved. A few months after meeting Mr. Acho at the lunch, Ms. Faraji noticed him in the hallway while at work. Ms. Faraji later asked Ms. Taylor if Mr. Acho also worked at Fox. Ms. Taylor confirmed and explained that she wanted Mr. Acho to eventually recommend her on the show Speak for Yourself. Ms. Faraji became alarmed and warned Ms. Taylor that she should probably not sleep with Mr. Dixon and Mr. Acho at the same time, as Mr. Dixon is a very powerful man that may become very angry. Ms. Taylor told her not to worry about it. She explained that she was also now powerful, and once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other women talent. In approximately September 2022, Ms. Taylor started to work on Speak. Ms. Taylor requested Ms. Faraji to do her hair. That's an explosive and wild allegation. If true, hey, let's continue reading. Now, this lawsuit continues to get juicy. I don't know why Joy Taylor was mentioned in it, because it's really with Fox, Skip Bayless, and Charlie Dixon. Ms. Faraji alleges that Mr. Dixon had an inappropriate interaction with her at a gathering, a previous date. Here in the lawsuit it says, in July 2021, Ms. Faraji developed issues with her left ovary and was advised it could be cancer. With a fourth biopsy scheduled, she explained the situation to Mr. Bayless, hoping that he would take pity on her and cease his advances. Instead, Mr. Bayless told her that he wanted to be with her. Ms. Faraji panicked and began rambling that there were cameras everywhere, that she has a child, and that she does not want him. Mr. Bayless then grabbed her hands, began kissing them, and offered her $1.5 million to have sex. Ms. Faraji makes an excuse to leave. Approximately 1 week later, Mr. Bayless made another advance at Ms. Faraji. Ms. Faraji responded, "Skip, stop, you have a wife." Mr. Bayless responded, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 or 4 wives?" Ms. Faraji responded that her father was, and when Mr. Bayless looked taken aback, she made an excuse to leave. This is wild. If this is true, this is wild. This is all alleged. This is in the lawsuit. I'm reading it. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what to say. There's another thing here that says during her time at Fox, Faraji alleges she made multiple complaints to the Human Resources and Employee Relations Department. Allegedly, they told her, if she wanted to keep her job as a parent, she should just keep quiet and keep working. And considering that she worked up until not too long ago, apparently she did. Why come out now with this? Who knows? Now, if we hop over to social media, we'll see that there were some interesting takes and some people chimed in, some people that were familiar with the situation, and let's see what they had to say. Now, Stephen A. Smith spoke about this over on his YouTube channel. He is a former co-host with Skip Bayless on Undisputed. If you want to hear what he had to say, definitely go over and check out his YouTube channel. You can probably also go to his X account. I'm sure he has some videos posted over there as well. One thing I will say Stephen A. Smith said that was interesting is that all the years he knows Skip Bayless, he says Skip Bayless is very frugal. And he doesn't believe Skip Bayless would be willing to pay $1.5 million for anything, let alone what he is being accused for, because he says, plain and simple, Skip Bayless is cheap. He doesn't spend money. So that's interesting as we unpack that. But like I said, you can go over to Stephen A. Smith's YouTube channel, check out what he had to say. Also, Marcellus Wiley, former NFL player, who also knows people over at FS1. He knows those guys. How intimately, I'm not sure, but he spoke on it. You can go over to his YouTube channel and see what he had to say as well, having a little more intimate knowledge than someone like myself, once again. And Marcellus Wiley is also an analyst. Now, it's interesting because he was responding to a tweet from Jason Whitlock that came across, which caught my interest. And Marcellus Wiley's tweet says, I echo these words, "The truth shall set me free. And since I'm free, I will tell the truth." Hashtag hydration station. And I think that's his pod. I'm not sure, but you can go over and check out Marcellus Wiley's account on X and get more information. But Jason Whitlock, it brought me over to his tweet now, which was, "I'm in a tough spot. I know all involved parties. The story speaks to the narratives that I discuss regularly. Corruption in TV and the media. The injection of women as hosts in male discussions. I'll figure out what I'm comfortable sharing, saying. What I can say for sure is Shannon Sharpe got revenge on the people he viewed as doing him wrong at FS1. Another prominent personality benefited as well. It's a dirty game." Now, of course, Shannon Sharpe is also a former co-host at Undisputed. So now this is interesting because then later on, Jason Whitlock comes out and says this. "This is why I didn't want Joy Taylor on my show at Fox Sports. That big rack of hers and that peanut butter skin. I know what I'm capable of." Wow. You can go over to Jason Whitlock's account on X. He's posted videos. He's actually spoken about this in depth. The big rack and peanut butter skin of Miss Taylor. I'm not going to elaborate on it anymore. He apparently knows her. I do not. Not my place to speak on her like that. Apparently, Jason Whitlock felt very comfortable saying that. If you want to see what else he has to say, you can go over to his account on X. Went to go see what other YouTube content creators might be saying. Anton Daniels says Joy Taylor is allegedly slept her way to the top while being a married woman and used her power and influence while at the same time preparing to make false accusations against a man, and women aren't holding her accountable. Now, he made a video about that. You can go over to his X account. He has a video on his X account where he spoke about the situation and gave his feelings. If you're interested, you can go and check that out. What is interesting, though, is that I did come across some tweets on X where women were saying, hey, everybody's focusing on Joy Taylor here. What about Skip Bayless willing to basically pay $1.5 million? You know, they're saying that's a borderline illegal activity there. I don't know. I don't know the details. I'm just going off of what's in this lawsuit. It's interesting, though. You know, I'm not hearing as much. But then I kept scrolling through X, and A.A.V.E pops up. Antonio Brown, former NFL wide receiver. He's different on X. He has a sports network he's launched, CTESPN. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So he chimes in. Nobody wanted to, Jamil, huh? Wow, just throwing strays. So then Mark Lamont Hill pops in. Why would you come for our sister, bro? That is corny. So Antonio Brown responds, it's only cool when she's attacking me and my career, though, huh? It's all comedy and entertainment, though, champ. So then, out of left field, the self-proclaimed GOAT himself, former NFL wide receiver Terrell Owens chimes in. Bro, you out of pocket. Angry emoji. And it's Jamil, by the way. Okay, T.O. He is the GOAT for a reason. Let us find out. You know Antonio Brown wasn't going to let that sit without a response. Congratulations on your nomination on last year's Dumbass of the Year award, champ. I'm sure that's something that Antonio Brown gave out on his network. And like I said, you know, Antonio Brown Social, I don't know if he runs it or if he has a moderator, but it's not for anybody. So Jamil Hill steps in her defense. Well, I wouldn't know anything about being community, but you do. Please share with the class what it's like to be passed around since you have so much experience. Stepping up for herself. She didn't need a TO. Go ahead, Ms. Hill. I hear you. Now, last thing before I get out of here, and I'm warning everybody, don't get Sentled. NBA Sentinel is a parody account, hilarious. They really come up with daily jokes and parody stuff, but people get Sentineled. Most recently, Bow Wow got Sentineled when they had posted about Travis Hunter and his girlfriend, and yeah, if you're not paying attention. So the Sentinel chimed in with their jokes. Zion's comment on Joy Taylor's IG post. Don't get Sentineled. Don't repost this. Make sure you understand that this is the Sentinel account. And I'm not even going to read it because it's not real. So I don't know, everybody, but hop in the comments. Let us know what you think about this. This is wild. You know, it's a lawsuit. It's a real thing. It's out there, so it's not going away. Why Joy Taylor and Emmanuel Acho were drawn into it, I don't know. That's interesting. Skip Bayless, if the allegations are true, I don't know. As far as Joy Taylor doing what she did to get to her position, she's a grown woman. No judgments over here. Hop in the comments, let us know what you think. Do you think that morally she has some type of obligation to anybody involved other than herself and where she needs to go? Or business as usual, because it happens every day. The only reason that we're talking about it is because she's someone that's on TV, and she's also someone that's criticized because of the field she chose and the amount of experience that viewers feel that she has based on her body of work. No pun intended. Hop in the comments, let us know what you think. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like button. I'm sure a lot more information is going to come out of this in the future. We will see soon. But once again, this is wow. This is interesting. And we'll be back daily, if not at least a few times a week, with some type of celebrity news. We're not really trying to do too much of the gossipy stuff, but we want to keep it juicy, and this is juicy. We are the A.A.V.E. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like. Hop in the comments. Let us know what you think about what's going on here with this story. See you next time.